Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Nate here, Go-Karts Are Gone Fishing headquarters, home of the Broke Cart crew. Check me out on Instagram and Facebook. But let's see what we got today in the shop. Another four-wheeler. This is actually from the same guy that I worked on the four-wheeler last week. And this one's his son's little 50cc Suzuki, two-wheel drive, automatic, one gear forward, and no neutral, no reverse, no gears, and it's having issues idling. So what I'm gonna do is tear all these plastics off, which need some work too, and get it that carburetor. So let's get at it. So I removed the front shroud here. On the front, it was just held on with a couple of zip ties, and on the bottom there it had some body clips, and those body clips can be a pain in the butt if you don't know what they are. You got to pull this little centerpiece out before they'll come out, and this is the only one he had in there, and it was barely holding on. And then I removed all the bolts. Sorry, it's getting dark outside. He had two 10 millimeters, three 10 millimeters, two Phillips, and two more 10s right here. And to remove that cover, you also have to take the key switch off, which fell down here. You just remove that right there nut, pull that feller off, and then you remove the gas cap and the plastics will come off. So I'm gonna get that out of the way, and we'll see if we can actually see that carburetor. Now, you know what? We still have to take these off, I just remembered. So let's go ahead and I'll get those off and we'll get back with you. Plus the two 10s right here. Alright, now this is scientific procedure, so she's naked. Alright, so you'd already tell she's losing a little bit of fluids. You know, she's old. We need to figure out what's going on with that. She is leaking from somewhere. And I noticed too, it had, this is like an oil, it's either oil mix. So, looks like it's been leaking for a while too. So we're gonna have to clean that up and see if we can figure out where that's coming from. Because this is a two-stroke. Here's the little oil reserve. And you got put your gas in, your oil here. Got a little drum brake in the back. This thing is microscopic, man. I love it. But it'll push you. So, first thing I'm gonna do though is start tearing into that carburetor, pull that off, and then clean up this area in the meantime. But we'll get back to you when we got that off. Getting into this thing, and I like to use these little clamps. They're getting hard to reach spots, you know, and that's gonna hold my gas closed. And it looks like just this one flathead here, and I think the whole air box and everything, besides the throttle, I have to unhook the throttle. It should come off after that. So I'm gonna get into it. You know, it's very convenient them making it with that flathead, and just you loosen that flathead and it unlooses a clamp and it comes right off. No gasket involved, you know. So I put that on there. It's holding my fuel in the tank for me, and I loosened that screw and it came right out. So I just gotta take my throttle cable out, and I can probably take this filter box off too and check his filter for him. I probably should get on the, well, that's the thing too. He don't know the model on this thing, so you know, the year model. See it dripping fuel. So we're gonna fix that for him. So I'm gonna find it on this frame for him somewhere, and tell him to get to ordering a few small parts. So we'll get back to you. Alright, I got that thing on the bench. Successfully removed the carburetor. I had to remove the choke. A little ball bearing came out, so keep an eye out for that. It rides in the hole that's right here. And two screws And that little ball bearing rides in this hole right here. And then there's your little slide for your throttle, and this is your choke evidently. So I'm gonna have to look into that more. But this is all new to me, but I've done a lot of carburetors and I seem to be pretty good at it, so I have all the tools to fix it and the knowledge. So I watched Musty One videos. That gives me the power. Alright, so here she is, bleeding everywhere. It's a cute little fella. But it's getting late tonight. Well, obviously tonight it's getting late, so we're gonna have to continue this tomorrow sometime. So we'll see you then. Good morning. It's the next day. It's a little late, you know. I've been tending to a sick dog and a recovering wife. So let's take a look at this thing here. I think we know where it's leaking oil from now. So that little valve or whatever there going into the motor that comes off of the can. If you could see that hose, it looks like somebody has cut it and it's super short, and this connection right here is super duper loose, so that hose is pretty much shot. So he needs that, and probably all new fuel lines, because this isn't a fuel line, but all the hoses on this thing, actually the fuel line doesn't look too bad, but yeah, so there's that problem. I might have something we can replace that with. And that should stop that leak. And then I'm thinking about pressure washing it or cleaning this engine up real good so we can see if it leaks anywhere else. But let's get to that carburetor. I'm going to start by taking this breather part off of it, and then I'm going to set this camera up so you guys can watch me tear it apart. So let me get prepared for that and we'll get back to you. Alright, so they got a 1/4 inch nut here holding this on there. Pop that off. I'm really curious what this air filter is going to look like. How about you guys? So just put a little self tapper in there to hold it on. That works. He's got an air filter, but not much of one. That's just a thin little feller. Looks pretty clean. It is kind of dusty in here. Not too bad though. So I gotta get 2 Phillips down in there. Pop that bad boy out. What was this? Some kind of ring there. I think that helps hold the air filter in place. Let's put that to the side. 2 Phillips head down in here. Holds this fella on. Just pops right off. There you go. Tell you what, it looks pretty clean in here. But I'm almost willing to bet there's going to be some gunk in the bottom of this bowl, because it was constantly spitting fuel out of the little overflow, which means that the float isn't sealing properly. So pull these 4 little screws out. I can let this girl sit in the bath overnight. Oh, I gotta be careful, I don't want to mess up that. So the gasket's sticking on both sides. You can find my little specialty knife for this thing. I don't know where I picked this thing up at, but when it comes to gaskets, this thing works great. So I don't want to rip that gasket, and I'm just going to follow it along the edge, and it popped right out, and it's not in bad shape. Great. Now inside we do have some gunk. She's definitely dirty. Alright, let's see here. What a cute little float. I can't tell if the needle's dropping, but it sounds like it is. So I'm not sure how that float's held in there. I'm gonna look at this for a little while. It kind of seems like it's sticking a little. So and it looks like it's got 2 jets too, maybe a high end and a low end. Let's see here. Take one of my better flat heads. Okay. works. Pretty clean. I could see through all these little holes, but yeah, I can see but it looks like there's a little piece of gunk inside here, so that might be doing a little something. I'm sorry about this light, folks. This is just horrible right now, but pull this little jet out here, and that is a microscopic one, but I can see through it. Thing is tiny. Put that to the side, and it actually looks like there's another one underneath that one, and it too is coming out. So far it's been fairly easy to work on this little fella. Keep dropping my screwdriver. So there's another jet of some sort, and I can see through that one as well. Let's see here, we got 1, 2, so yeah, it's probably high and low, and then that just holds on the, hey, check that out, that float goes all the way back. I just realized that. So that means I can pull out my needle. I think Johnny just showed up. So it looks like there's a little stopper in here to hold this needle from falling completely out. Let me get back to you. Alright, so now I'm going to remove these two needles, and what I do is I count, I'll make a mark, like see how this is pointing straight up, made a little mark on there. I'll count half, 1, half, 2, half, 3, half, 4, quarter. So it went 4 1/4 all the way in before it stopped. So what I'm gonna do on my towel, up here I'm gonna write 4 1/4, and I'm gonna put that needle right there so I don't mix it up with the other needle. Then you can remove it all the way out. So that can go there. Make sure, let's see, a little spring came out with it, put that with it. Alright, now we're going to do the other needle. It's straight up and down right here. Make a mark. Half, 1 1/4. So that one only went 1 1/4. 1 1/4 turns. So we know it runs like that. So let's take them out. Johnny's over here working on his cart. Take the needle and the spring out, and they're both pretty yucky, like they got some stuff on them. So that's all opened up, everything's good. I really don't want to take this float out because it's kind of hammered in there. It doesn't have a slide, it's got pinch points, so I'm gonna leave that, and I really want to get that needle out. So I'm gonna, alright, so with Johnny's help I was able to use this. Now I know you can't see, but there's a little metal rod going across right there, and he was able to push on that while I grabbed it with these little baby needle nose, and we were able to get the needle out. So there's our needle. Alright, so everything has now been removed from this except for the float, which I think will be alright. I'll set it in there upside down in the bath and let the float float, and get this bad boy cleaned up. So into the bath with her. Alright, so here's my chemical dip. This is the stuff I buy. Actually, I've had this can for probably, I want to say 5 years or more, and
it works good. I think it's like 25 bucks at your local parts store. So I just pulled everything apart. There's my, now you guys can see that stuff, it's dried out now, all that crump stuff down there. We're gonna get it all out. So into the bath with the bowl, into the bath with the actual carb, needles. These are really small. Kind of worried about them going through the holes. Can you fit through there? It'll be fine. All these needles in there. Jets. There's one. I believe that's it. In the bath she goes. See you in 24 hours. Alright, so I cleaned up the infected area and noticed that this is like a little banjo bolt right here, and it had gotten loose, you know, over time, so that's where the oil leak was coming from. So I got that pointed back in the right direction, tightened back up, and we'll wait and see if it leaks. Right now it seems pretty good, so we'll be getting ready to pull that carb out here soon. It's been a couple hours, but I'm about to pull it out because it wasn't that dirty, and we're gonna put it back together and try this little thing out. So looks like everybody's accounted for. A bunch of small parts with this fella. Alright, so I gotta take this in the house, and what I use is Dawn dish soap and a toothbrush and clean it up. Then I'll come out here and reassemble. Alright, as you can see, she's out of the chemical dip, looking like brand spanking new. No more gunk in there. So now I'm gonna throw it back together. Fast forward, activated. So here's my trick, and I cannot take full responsibility for thinking of this because I learned it from Musty One. It's just a Q-tip with a little bit of oil on the end of it, and it'll clean it out real good. And then that's it. Q-tip on the end of your drill. That's my trick, and I learned that from Musty One, and it does work. So let's get this thing back together. Alright, so we got that needle in there, and trust me, it's not easy. We notice it's got a little spring right there built into the needle, so that's not a cheap needle. So we did the pressure test. I blow in here, move the float up and down, it seals. I'm pretty sure it wasn't sealing before, so we're gonna go ahead and finish putting her back together now. Put this other needle in there, tighten her down. Alright, let me make sure I ain't missing nothing else. This actually goes around that. If you want to tighten that down for me, Johnny.
I will.
Johnny is the man when it comes to helping people out. Alright, I have a needle backwards, so this one here comes out 1 1/4. Half, 1 1/4. And this one's all in, comes out 4 1/4. Half, 1, half, 2, half, 3, half, 4 1/4. Which seems way out to me, but that's where it was. We'll try it out. Here's the old gasket. She's seen better days, but it should still work. Put the bowl back together. We're getting close, people.
What's that little ball for?
That's on the choke leverage. So when I put it back in, that's when that comes back into handy.
Alright, I didn't know.
Yep. Phillips. Thanks, sir. More furniture cut through. Me and Johnny are getting ready for a live stream tonight. Gonna have maybe a few more people come by. Chris, hopefully he'll make it. Maybe Trevor, maybe Ryan, we'll see. Hope I'll see you guys all there. That's every Wednesday night at 7 unless something comes up. I'm gonna try to do them every Wednesday. We got E-Tart Adventures on Monday at 9 and Bubsification at 9 on Tuesdays. Alright, she's back together. Hold that carb up like I was telling. So there's a little check ball in here. You got to make sure it makes life a little easier. I mean, your life will still work with it, but it'll work without it. I mean, but it'll work better with it. And all it does is help you hold your choke up. It rides in these two balls. One's gonna be choke on, one's gonna be choke off. So don't lose that little ball bearing sitting on a spring right there. We're about to throw this carb back in here. Try it out. All right, I'm throwing the plastics back on, and then we're gonna take her outside and see how she runs. I'm pretty confident she's gonna do just fine. All right, we got her going. I got a little bit more plastics to put on, but it's good to go. Let's ride her.
Trying to do a wheelie.
So the problem was that she was running real rough and not idling. So as you can see, back up, Johnny. She's running good now, idling like a top. I never did find the year on it. I totally forgot to look. Look, I totally forgot to look.
Probably in the 2000.
Yeah, I still got those plastics I got to put back together on the other side. There she is, running like a top. I'm 200 pounds. Brakes work great on this thing. Yep, that's it. Carb rebuild, pull start rebuild, and that's it. Time to go edit. Enjoy the video. Thanks for watching the video. Johnny Garage. Go Karts Are Going Fishing out. Like, comment, subscribe.